بالقاسم محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. O our Lord, grant us from yourself mercy and prepare for us from your affair in guidance or in completion. So now we are talking tonight, which is continuing in our series of speeches about the Imam and his completion of the message of the Prophet. Before we start, we want to, of course, remember all of the shaheeds that we've had in the last few years who have got us to this point and helped the message of Islam get to this point. So we have people like Shaheed al-Raha, Shaheed Rahbar, Shaheed Hassan Nasrallah, Shaheed Musavi, Shaheed Malcolm X, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, who have been so influential. And we just want to give some of the give the sawab of these majalis to them. Of course, giving the sawab to them does not take it from us. Allah is able to give all of these blessings to all of these people and also to the families of the people who helped organize and did the work and helped decorate. And we have to remember all of these people in our prayers and inshallah be good to our marhumin. And so let's give loud salawat and Surah Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So now we have a word which is not used as often, which is the word rushd. And many times it's translated in English, which is guide, which was similar to the word we had with hadi and huda. But there's a difference in meaning between the two words. But it's similar in meaning because many times it'll use in the same word with the same sentence with hidayah, it'll also mention rushd. So it shows because Allah doesn't add words unnecessarily. It's not like us, like sometimes we'll start adding words, adding words, adding words. If Allah uses two different words, it's because there's two different meanings and two different emphasis in this. There's a difference between a person who is getting guidance, meaning the person we said that the guide is the one who points the way and also shows you the way, and the person who's getting rushd. Slight difference between the two. So we want to look at a few instances where Allah uses these words in different ways to try to pull out and extract some of these other meanings from these and see is that this is a message of the prophets and completing the message of the prophets. So the ayat we have, which was Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Man yahdillah fahuwa muhdi. Whoever Allah guides, then he is guided. وَمَنْ يُضِلْ وَمَنْ يُضِلَّ فَلَنْ يَجِدُوا لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدٍ. So whoever he loses, whom Allah makes to get lost, then he does not find any wali, which is a patron, who is guided. So if Allah makes you to get lost and you lose the track and you lose the way, then someone else can't come over and guide you to success. But it doesn't use the same word. So it used the word hidayah 2 times, and then it shows that they are close in meaning because it was using that the person got dalal, which we say the opposite of hidayah is dalal, and then we say that this person, which is lost, then the person doesn't find a murshid. So you can tell that the words are similar in meaning, but not the same. We have another one, which is the person from the Ale Fir'aun. He's talking to his people. So Fir'aun is doing his oppression, and he is trying, or it might be from Surah Kaf. I kind of lost the ayah, but we have it here. وَقَالَ الَّذِي آمَنَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُونِي. The one who believed said, "O my people, follow me. Ahdikum." He said, "I'll guide you. Sabila Rashad," not Sabila Hidayah. So Rushd again here is giving us Hidayah. So he's going to take him, just like we said, but he's going to take him to the path of guidance. So we see this slight difference here again. Now, when we look at another verse, this is from Surah Jinn. Surah Jinn. So some of the jinns were listening to the Quran, and Allah quotes them, right? What's interesting is whenever Allah quotes someone in the Quran, usually it's the person said something extremely bad, something wicked, like Fir'aun. He'll say, you know, that Ana Rabbukum wal A'la. They'll actually give the quote. He doesn't paraphrase or change or just give you the meaning. He actually says what he said. Or the person says something very wise. And so the jinns are saying, Qul uhiya ilayya. So the Prophet should say, tell the people, that innahu sama'a istama'a nafarun min al-jinn. So tell the people that some of the jinn heard you. فَقَالُوا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا. We heard a miraculous Quran. And remember, why is he pointing that out? Because these people used to think that we go to the jinn to get hidayah at this time. When they couldn't find the answer to a problem, they used to go to the jinn, and the jinn are saying, no, don't come to us, we're coming to the Quran. Yahdi ila rushd fa'amanna bih. That the Quran guides to rushd, and we believed in it. Please give us salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, this rushd, when we look at it in some of the other verses, we can tell that it's meaning more in completion and growth. It's in that way, or growth towards completion, and also correct growth, meaning like a tree that's growing up the way it should. It's not leaning this way or leaning this way. Why? How can we get this? When it's talking about the orphans in the Quran, فَإِنْ آنَسْتُم مِّنْهُمْ رُشْدًا فَادْفَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ أَمْوَالَهُم. So when you sense in them rushd, meaning that they are grown and complete, getting complete as a human being, and they're growing, and also their reason and their rationality is leading them to make correct decisions, then you hand over their wealth to them. This is when they're, sometimes it says, "Amma balagha nikaha," stuff like that, meaning they're reaching this age of rationality and also physical strength. So that when Allah's guiding us towards this rushd, it's Allah is showing us how to get on this path of growth and completion and learning, so that we can now begin that journey towards Him. So when we look at these verses, we see that we also look for the antonym. What's the person who does not get rushd get, and what is the person who does get it? When we look at the opposite word, we see that when we look, what's the verse? In Surah Baqarah, La ikraha fi din. قد تبين الرشد, so the right way. قد تبين الرشد من الغي. So there's another word, which is ghay, which is the wrong way and the wrong type of growth. And going down in your life is also clear. So there's one path, which is towards success, closeness to Allah, growth as a human being, completion as a human being, and then there's stunted growth, animalistic behavior, low following the Hawaii nafs, and that is also the other pathway. So a person is choosing between these two paths, and Allah is showing us here. So let's look at so how was this word khay used? We have وَبُرِّزَتِ الْجَحِيمُ لِغَاوِينَ. So the hellfire is brought forth and shown to the people who are ghawin, meaning they took this other path. They didn't go towards Rush, which was leading them towards paradise, and they took the other path. That's why they're ghawin. They took this other path, and that path led them towards hell. Now, what's very interesting is the Shaitan uses this word too, and he uses it in two ways. So after the Allah says, Isjud la Adam, fasajadu ila malaika, Adam, Iblis said no. Aba wastakbara, wa kana minal ghawin, or kana minal kafirin, some of them. He says, Rabbi bima aghwaytani, O my Lord, because you have caused me to become misguided. لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين. So he says that because you caused me to be misguided, then I am going to misguide all of them. And sometimes Allah uses this word like that. Allah says that I'm the one who misguided. But we know that, let's put our thinking hat on. When a person is misguided, is it because Allah forced them into misguidance? No. When a person is misguided, means Allah opened the path for you to choose, like we just said. So Allah allows you to choose the wrong path. So Shaitan, he looked at the zahir of the human and he became arrogant. He said, I'm better based on things that Allah did not say were the conditions for makes one better than the other. So Allah looked at the batin of the human and the soul and the capacity for growth. And Shaitan looked at the zahir of the human, which did not look amazing to him. Because you see fire, it's bright, it shows this, it shows that. He's like, this is better looking at the zahir of it. And when Allah proved to him the superiority of Adam by his ability to do what? Be Rashid, learn, and be Muhtadi. He said, look at him. He is able to accumulate more knowledge from what he learns. He's able to become better. And he has this ability of greatness. He's able to fight through his Hawaiian nafs. He's able to be humble in this world. This is what I like, and this bidatiha is better. Shaitan refused. He said, you made me get lost. How did he make him get lost? Like basically you made a challenge that I couldn't pass. That's not a challenge that he told you what to do. He told you the answer to the test. You refused to answer. If I say the answer to the test, I hand you the test and I hand you the the sheet that the teacher gives you. And I say that the answer to number one is A and the answer to number two is C or whatever like that. And you write C all the way down. You say, I gave you the test and I gave you the answers. You failed the test. So Shaitan chose to make a short-sighted decision. And he blamed it. And this shows that his aql is not working correctly. When he made the decision, instead of reviewing himself and saying, what did I do wrong? This is the opposite of rushd. He wanted his ego to feel good. He said, no, you did it. He put the blame outside of himself, because if he put the blame inside himself, he would feel bad. He didn't want to do that. Why? He was mustakbirin. He said, I'm better than everybody. I don't want to admit a mistake. It must have come from someone else. Adam led me astray, Allah led me astray, this led me astray, that led me astray, this led me astray, everything except maybe your ego. Maybe that was what led you astray. You're all angry at everybody else. Look at yourself first. He didn't want to do that. And so he said, now I'm going to make the world of the dunya beautiful to them so that the rest of them will go astray too. And then what happened with Adam? فَأَصَى Adam Rabbahu فَخَوَى. So, Sadaqa Zanna Iblis in this case. He was able to confuse Adam for a second. He made the world look beautiful. Adam forgot. Adam made a mistake. But then Adam showed the rushd. He showed the guidance. When he made a mistake, he said, oh, I made a mistake. Zalam to nafsi. He started trying. Even the khajal that he felt. That when he realized his mistake and he realized that the labas, whether it's light or whatever that Allah had given him, he started trying to cover himself. This khajal is a type of admission that I'm wrong. He didn't say, no, I didn't do anything wrong. It must be this person's fault and that person's fault and everybody but me's fault. He said, no, I did something wrong. He tried to cover the mistake. He tried to hide the mistake. He tried to make amends for the mistake. He blamed himself. He said, Zalamtu nafsi. He didn't say somehow else, bima khawaitani or something. He said, Zalamtu nafsi. I'm the one I had the shortcoming. My short-term memory and my short-term trying to do something else, my trying to get ahead of my place, then I got confused and I made a mistake. So Shaitan blew, like he ate from the tree, and then what was this actually? Some people, there's a lot of different mistakes that he made, but one of the things which is very interesting that in some of our tafsir is that the inside the tree was knowledge about the Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam, right? And Adam made the mistake of Iblis and saw their maqam and got jealous. He saw how high they were, and then he got jealous. And getting jealous and trying to do tanafus with the Ahlul Bayt caused there's a lot of different zawiyat. So don't be this is not a explanation that's man and taman. No. There's so many different lessons, but one of the lessons was that. The other lesson is that when he made that mistake, he also did tawassul with the Ahlul Bayt to get him back into the garden. So when Allah got angry with him because of his mistake and because he was envious of the Ahlul Bayt, he did tawassul with the Ahlul Bayt. Bihaq Muhammad wa Husayn wa Ali wa Fatima wa Hassan. Forgive me my sin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is something that we need to keep in mind too. When we do zone, don't think, oh, you know what? I'm lost. I've done too much. I can't go back. No. We ask Allah by the love that I have for these holy figures, please forgive my sin. Bring me back to you. So this is what him and Hawa did. Shaitan could have done the same thing. He could have said, because of my mistake, let me do tawassul with the wali of Allah. Ask Adam, please ask Allah to forgive my mistake. I accept. I had naseed, khatat, khalat kardam, however you want to say it, khafil shidham, whatever you want to say. I got lost. I forgot this, that, and the other. And forgive me. He didn't do that. He started doubling down. This is an important point in our life, that we do not do this tanafus with and this competition with the awliya that Allah has put over us. The ugliness of it shows to everybody, and it should show to us, but Allah humiliates you when you do it. So, in this thing, in this bab, one of the things which is very important is that Allah puts people who are over us as a little bit of a daraja to teach us this lesson of humility. But it's not someone who's far, far away. This is what gets a lot of people. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Some people are so arrogant that they even with the Ahlul Bayt who are far away and not living and not present in our midst, they try to do tanafus with them. There's people who are that gomrah, right? There's people who are that lost, who are really off the path. They refuse the Ahlul Bayt out of jealousy, even though they can't see them. There's some people know who they have enough sense not to do that, but they do tanafus with like these ayatollahs and things like that. Oh, I refused the ayatollah. Why? I knew somebody. He said, I didn't become Muslim to follow a white man. This is the time of Imam Khomeini. And I'm like, so you did jihad, left your people who are all Christians to become Muslim. Then you lost all your friends again who are all Sunni to become Shia. You reached all the way to Iran, did spent your own money and reached to Iran, and then you refused wilayat there. Just the level of arrogance. And it's funny, it also, what makes it even crazier is a lot of us left Christianity because of the racism that was being promoted. You ran all the way over there, then you were racist, and then, inshallah, he made tawbah. I don't know what happened to him, but I remember at the time he was angry. He was like, what, we have to accept, because he didn't know Shia had to accept taqleed. He just thought you accepted Imam Ali. He didn't know anything about taqleed. When we came and we started doing the bahs of taqleed, they said, yeah, you have to be muqallid. If you're not alim, you have to be muqallid. Oh, no, I don't. Some people, they have tanafus with other people who are closer with them. Local ulama, this, that, or the other. No, just play your space. This is something which is very important, and it's funny, it comes exactly in this bab, which a lot of times is lost. We had in the past, when a person wanted to learn about Islam, he didn't do it the American way. The American way, we think, oh no, I don't need to do taqleed. Taqleed? What's that? I don't have to follow the Ahlul Bayt and think that they're better than me. I can be whoever I want to be. I'll buy the book, I'll read the book, I'll understand the book, and I can't be the prophet, I'll be the next closest thing. This is if we want to accept Islam, but by our culture rather than by what Allah has to say. When they used to teach you Islam, a person used to get from like when they were trying to study with the Ahlul Bayt. You know tasawwuf, right? Tasawwuf did not come from outside in. Tasawwuf is from the Ahlul Bayt, that people used to come over, and he would be a normal mu'min, and he would come to the Imam and say, you know what, I really need to be a better person. I've kind of reached a dead end. I make my salats, I pay my zakats, but I can feel that I'm hitting the wall of where I can take myself. I'm hitting a wall. First, you had to accept step A before you got to go anywhere. You had to accept the Imam, right? And he would give you a teacher, and that teacher would be called a murshid. And that person would be a pious person who he would take you on a spiritual journey, and he would have you listen to him. And you would do bay'at to him. Basically, you're doing bay'at to the Imam, but by one of his students of the Imam. Teach you what zikr you have to do. how to get muqarraba, and how to get rid of your ego, the same issue we had with Iblis. Get you that humility, connect back to the Prophet, and begin your learning about controlling your soul. And this way you would become better. Not, oh, mashallah, I got the book, I read it myself, and we didn't like that concept. Even in Hausa, even the Eastern way of learning, they don't have that concept. Oh, you just go over, you just buy a bunch of books online, and then Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. You buy a bunch of, on, and you get a they have this tablet. And I just go in, oh yeah, mashallah, I'm Ayatollah. You're like, how are you Ayatollah? Well, I bought the Risala Amaliya, and I bought, Sahih Muslim or Usul Kafi. I read it myself. I also studied Ilm al-Rijal, and mashallah, I read everything, and I can tell you, here's the fatwa, is this, that. They would think you were out of your mind. No, someone has to teach you. That's why they have, like, you would get ijaza to read Quran or ijaza to make hadith. No, he would teach you, y'all go back and forth. And after he's satisfied with not just your knowledge, but your akhlaq and that the lesson has set in, then he would give ijaza and let people come to you. That's why I can't just be a self-made Ayatollah. I can't just go over and buy let me say, Usul Kafi and buy a couple other books, buy Ilm al-Rijal, flip, mashallah, okay, have it hifz the Quran, and then khalik namshi. No, and start walking off and be like, okay, you guys can be my muqalladeen. No, the process, because they would say, no, first you learn it. This is how we do. First you would get taught. Then we would have to teach one of our other students back. Then we would teach the lesson, kind of have like a sort of a mini lesson amongst the other Hausa students. Then after a while, you would kind of work your way up, and this is how you would get there. It's funny, the same person who had ishkal for me, he was saying the same thing, who didn't want to fight that. He was like, how can I become an Ayatollah? I'm like, what do you mean, how can I become an Ayatollah? He was like, I heard they write like we have the scholars now. You just in America, you go and you write like some sort of paper on XYZ subject, and then mashallah. And then he was like, I already have mine written. Mine is on jihad in America, and I should be able to submit that to somebody and become an ayatollah. You got a lot to do. They don't even start you with that. First, you have to start. They teach you Arabic grammar. We're nowhere near, we're nowhere near being an ayatollah. So that learning and that tazkiyah to nafs and that growth is where the secret is. We have a hadith from Imam Sadiq. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He said, Majalis as-salihin da'iyatun ila salat. Sit with the righteous people, and this will call you towards righteousness. We have another one from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, Al mar'u ala dina khalili. A man is on the religion of his friend. Fanzur ahadukum ila man yuhan. So you're sitting with righteous people. You're asking questions of wise people. You're learning, and your goal is not, oh, I want to be somehow, like, your goal should be, I want to learn about my own deen. It may happen that it becomes my responsibility to teach others and be an ayatollah. It may happen along the way. Like, that's not the goal. The goal is to learn and become as best a person as I can and do my taklif. Sometimes it happens that your taklif is that you're ayatollah. Sometimes it happens that your taklif is that nobody knows who you are. There was one time there's two ayatollahs, and they used to study. And one of them was sharper with the other in knowledge. But the one who was less sharp, but I guess he maybe had the personality, he was jazab. People kept asking him questions and asking him questions and asking him questions. So he started answering the questions and had to give more das until finally, after a while, he ended up being what's his, an ayatollah. And people were doing his taqleed. Then he came, and when he used to have problems, he would go to his friend. So people were making his taqleed, but his friend, who was very sharp with fiqh and stuff, he would answer his questions. So finally, his friend died. And he wanted to, his not died, sorry, on your the edge of death. And they go to the person and they say, say La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, aliyun waliyullah, so that you can, give your shahadat before you die. And his friend was like, why was it you and not me? And he's like, what are you talking about? He was like, why was it you and not me? He's like, don't be talking about it. He was like, they were doing your taqleed and not mine. And he was like, I don't know. People started asking questions. I wasn't trying to. And he just kept repeating that, repeating that, repeating that, and refused to say the Shahadatain until he died. Meaning, like, if this person isn't working on their soul, but somehow they're just getting knowledge, then it happens that now you are in this moment, but you never really accepted wilayat. Somehow people think, like, oh, it's the wilayat of Allah. No. Allah puts you in that situation where you have to accept it now on top of you. We have another ayah of Quran, which is very interesting and ties to what we're talking about here. We read this all the time. Surah Shams. وَالنَّفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. And the nafs, the soul, and the one who completed it. This is sawaha. Remember we were talking about adil and stuff? So another word is sawiya, meaning it's not too far this way, it's not too far that way, it's perfect. Allah made it like this. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. And Allah let you have the way to be fujur and evil, or be muttaqi and get closer. قَدْ أَفْلَهَ مَنْ زَكَاهَا. Whoever works on that, trying to be better on this tariq al-rashad, he is so happy. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَاهَا. The person who lets itself go and lets himself coast and go wherever he wants to go, he is completely humiliated. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَغْوَاهَا. It's very interesting. Why is this here? What does that have to do with it? This word, so they said this is a lie. They refused the taqwa. They refused it. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَغْوَاهَا. Remember we with the word baghi and tughyan, meaning the person is refusing the hidayah. He's refusing the growth. He's refusing all of these things. They're refusing the adl. And he goes, tughyan was to go beyond your boundaries. Lamma taghal ma. Remember we were talking about the water. That the water jumped outside of where it was supposed to be. Idhim ba'atha ashqaha. Then they sent their worst person. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ. And their prophet said, this is the she-camel of Allah. He's warning them. This is a miracle of Allah. This is the camel of Allah. Don't harm her. وَسُقْيَاهَا. Give it water. Meaning kind, show appreciation for these miracles that Allah has given you. فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَقَرَاهَا. And they said, you're lying. And they cut the legs of the camel. When they want to kill a camel, they cut the legs of the camel and the camel falls down, and then they kill it with a spear, like a knife. Some of the other animals you kill with a knife, they call it, spear is naha, when they kill the animal with a spear. So big animals, they're so dangerous that if you try to cut it, it will. So also in the, let's say, Surah Kawthar, Inna atayna kawthar fasalli rabbika wanhar. Wanhar means give a great sacrifice, meaning if I have a lot of money, I can afford a camel. So I have a lot of money, I want to make a big sacrifice, I do a camel. When it's talking about Inna atayna kawthar, meaning Allah gave you the Ahlul Bayt, Allah gave you Fatima, Allah gave you the remembrance in the Quran, Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah gave you Rafa'na laka dhikrak, that Allah made that they mention your name when you swear to Allah. You have to also mention your name. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. You have to give a great sacrifice. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Husayna, and praise your Lord and sacrifice Hussein and Abbas and Ali and Fatima and Hassan. Fasalli li rabbika wanha. So now we're going to go and we're going to put ourselves in Karbala. And if Allah was angry and destroyed a people for killing a camel, what's a bigger miracle than that? Let's go to Karbala. Let's go to Karbala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Let's talk about the story of Qasim. He was between 13 and 16 years old, a young, very young. The companions were mostly killed off. He had already started to lose nephews, brothers, and Qasim came to ask permission to fight. And Imam Husayn said, "No, you're all I have left of Hassan." He said, "But my cousins have fought, my brothers have fought, my uncles have fought. Please give me permission to fight." He said, "Go ask your mother for permission to fight." Maybe she says no. His mother gave him permission to fight. He came back to the Imam. The Imam kept refusing him and refusing him. He said, "You're all I have left of Hassan." And then Qasim went back to his mother. He went back to Zainab. He was so upset because he had lost his chance at martyrdom. His uncle was in trouble and he couldn't bear to sit and watch. And then he remembered that his father had given him something, had given him a letter and tied it to him and said, "When the day is very bad, open this letter." And he thought to himself, what day could be worse than this? And he opened the letter and he found this letter. And it said, "My dear brother Hussein, a day will come when Islam will only be saved by a great sacrifice. And I will not be alive to help you. But on that day, my son Qasim will be there. I wish that he should represent me." So when he came and he showed this letter to Imam Hussein couldn't say no because this was the wasiyah from Imam Hassan. He said, "Okay, I'm giving you permission to fight." So he sent him back with Zainab and he sent Qasim back. And then Zainab took out the amama of Hassan and began to wrap his head. And he took out the clothes of Hassan and put him on Qasim. And when she was done wrapping Qasim, she said, "Hussein, look at him. Doesn't he look like Hassan?" And Imam Hussein said, "He looks like Hassan exactly." And he started crying. But he had to fulfill his promise to his brother, so he took Qasim out. And Qasim was struggling to get onto his horse, so the Imam picked him up and he put him onto his horse. And Qasim was so proud. He's, "I'm representing Hassan. I'm representing Ali. I'm representing the Prophet." And he went out to fight. And he began to fight so bravely. And everyone said, "This is Hassan who's come again." And he kept killing their best warriors. So they stopped fighting him one on one. They began to attack in groups, but he still was fighting them. But Hassan started to get tired. And as he got tired, finally some evil people were able to come up behind him. And they struck him and he fell off of his horse. And then when he tried to get up so that he could fight again, they hit him in the head and made him fall back down. And he tried to get up again and they stabbed him with the spear to hold him down. And once he was down and he could not move, they began to hit him and attack him. And he said, "Oh, my uncle, help me. They're attacking me all at once. I can't fight by myself." Imam Husayn ran towards them and they ran him over with their horses. When Imam Husayn got there, he was injured. He was hurt. Imam Hussein set him up and Qasim said, "Did I do good?" And then Imam Hussein had to bring him back to his mother. And he was bashed to pieces. The baby who couldn't, he looked like us, and you couldn't even tell what he looked like. Hussein,